For 85 years, football coaches have been trying to teach football players and other athletes to play with a low center of gravity, that is, lower at the hips. Athletic movement is much faster and more powerful from a low center of gravity than it is from an upright position. From the beginning, coaches have searched for machines to help train athletes to play low. Hundreds have been invented, yet years later, the number one mistake repeated by athletes, particularly football players, is playing too high. Why is playing low so important? Because the competitor that stays low wins. The competitor that delivers power in an upward trajectory stays in control. The competitor that rises up gets beaten. Today, around 85 years after the invention of the blocking sled, comes a new device. It's called the PowerDrive. Now, what makes the PowerDrive different? What separates it from the countless machines that may exhaust the athlete but fail to teach better technique? The secret is in the combination of its round shape, ballast, and padded outer surface. Let's begin with the ballast. The inside of the PowerDrive employs a round cylindrical ballast tank. Typically, the ballast material is sand, but other materials can be used. As the PowerDrive is rolled, the ballast sand rides up the front of the tank, creating a tremendous amount of resistance. It pushes back against the athlete, creating an opposite force, not unlike that of an opponent. Because of the ballast, the PowerDrive cannot develop momentum. Therefore, the athlete cannot migrate into bad form as it gets easier, but must stay low and punch the face of the PowerDrive with an upward trajectory with each new step and each strike of the hands. Without the benefit of momentum, the PowerDrive is just as challenging to roll after it begins moving as it was on the very first step. The smooth padded outer surface is equally important in achieving the goal of teaching better technique because when struck with the hand, it indents, thereby creating a handhold with which the athlete can force the face of the PowerDrive upwards against the resistance of the ballast, enabling the PowerDrive to roll. The only way to leverage the face of the PowerDrive upwards is with the stronger hip muscles positioned low and below the midpoint of the PowerDrive, requiring the hips to lower with each step. Ultimately, the athlete becomes very strong and comfortable in this lower position and plays consistently lower. No other piece of equipment combines these features. For example, objects that are pushed and slide along the ground become easier to slide once in motion, allowing the migration to poor form. Objects that are dragged also become easier to keep in motion once moving and provide no training whatsoever for the hands and upper body. The mere act of rolling something is not enough to confer the same benefits as the PowerDrive. A rolling object with an unpadded surface and no ballast would build momentum and would allow the athlete to migrate to bad form. Furthermore, without padding, it would provide no training for the hands to deliver a forceful blow, create a handhold, and work in an upward trajectory. Without ballast and padding, a rolling object is just another rolling object and cannot be weighted properly to force the hands in and the hips down. The PowerDrive's unique combination of ballast, a cylindrical ballast tank, and a smooth padded surface succeeds where other equipment has failed. It doesn't just promise results, it produces observable, measurable results on the field. Ask any of the hundreds of coaches who train with the PowerDrive, and they'll tell you that it fulfills a long-felt need for a training device that will more closely simulate the conditions that occur on the field and trains an athlete to play lower, stronger, and better.